Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Hiya, so it's lovely to meet you all. I'm Molly from GamesRadar. I just want to start by saying I loved the film so much. It was so much fun. I was smiling all the way through it.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. And, you know, you're all playing these, like, incredibly iconic characters. They have a huge legacy. So can you each tell me, like, something you did to set your interpretation of these characters apart from other versions of them?
It's nice that they've got such legacy. One of the things that I got sent as a gift after I got cast was a book that's a celebration of the 75 years of Lex in comics. And it was, every comic that he's appeared in, basically, summed up through the eras. And that was a wonderful place to start in terms of learning about him. But then it wasn't for me about trying to do something different with the character. It was about looking at James's script that was a wonderful blueprint and what he wanted from the character, and then going back and learning and researching as much as I could in varied ways to then be like, okay, what can I add on top of that that's helpful for this story and this version of the character without trying to be different. Yeah,
there's something cool about in the same way when you play a great character in theater who's been played by great actors before you, you don't really get the chance to go back and see their performances and be inspired by their performances. But when you read the play and you get your inspiration from the same words that they got their inspiration from, there's a nice little spiritual connection through time there. For me, it was focusing on drawing inspiration from All-Star Superman, the comic that James sort of pointed us to. And in looking at that, not that all the Supermans have before me have read that comic, but I saw some things that I recognized in other actors' portrayal of the character. But in drawing it from the comics rather than from the other performances, I felt like I felt confident that it would become my own interpretation, and I would find things that would be, overlapping, but ultimately distinct from previous actors.
Definitely. And do you feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, as these guys both have said, there's such a rich history with these characters, and it was really fun to do that research, especially as somebody who didn't grow up with the comics. And all of these characters have been on some wild and weird journeys through their lifetimes, and so it was fun to learn about them that way. And then also, for me, you've said this a lot. James talked a lot about, of course, this is inspired by a comic book, and there are some things that we just accept as truth that are slightly parallel to our world. But what if it was real? And so there was a real joy as an actor in getting to be like, okay, well, what if this woman in Metropolis was a passionate print journalist in a moment when print journalism is an art form under siege? What would that look like? What would she look like? What would she prioritize as far as, how she dresses, how she moves through the world, how she talks, what she's reading, and just to kind of ground it in a reality. And I think naturally that makes them, these characters continue to update every time you see a new iteration of them.
Definitely. And I loved your versions of the characters. They felt like so classic but so fresh at the same time. I loved it. And obviously we are like in an era where multiple superhero movies are coming out a year, but I loved how, like I said, like how fresh and fun this film felt. And it feels really unique. So I was wondering, like, what do you make of like the movie's tone and its place in that sort of wider superhero context?
My impression, which is only my impression, but rather than being a comic book adaptation to film, which I think has been the great, the renaissance of comic book movies that started with great films like Iron Man and Batman Begins, where it sort of felt like we were bringing these comic characters to the real world. James's Superman movie, I think, is more a comic book up on the big screen. Mm-hmm. I've heard it described, the experience of watching it is sort of like the experience of reading a comic, but obviously in motion on a giant screen, shared with the people around you. I think that's that should be a new experience for people, and is a great way to start a new era of comic book movies.
Definitely. So it feels like there's sort of so much potential to see your characters again someday. So I was wondering, what are your personal hopes for the future of your characters?
To destroy Superman.
I love that.
To get Superman to marry me.
Perfect.
Not if I destroy him first.
Not if I marry him first.
Don't destroy him.
Oh, it's just nice to be wanted.
I love that.
No, I'd love to see, Wonder Woman. I would love to see some kind of, there's some storied history between Lois and Wonder Woman.
Definitely.
in the comics.
I want to see that too. So that's all my time. So thank you so much.
Thank
It was
you
lovely
very
to
much.
meet you.